Jake stood at the observation window and watched the alien ships descend through Earth's atmosphere. He had seen many things in his 34 years, but nothing prepared him for this moment. The ships moved like liquid metal, flowing and shifting as they dropped toward the landing zone in New Seattle. Behind him, the control room buzzed with activity. Every screen showed data streams, trajectory calculations, and diplomatic protocols. This was the day humanity had waited for since they first looked up at the stars and wondered if they were alone. Dr. Lisa walked up beside him, her tablet glowing with real-time updates. She was the best neural systems engineer on the planet, and right now she looked worried. "They're not impressed," she said quietly. "The preliminary scans show they've been monitoring our communications. They think we're too dependent on our AI systems." Jake turned to her. "Let them think what they want. We'll show them what we can do." The aliens called themselves the Galactic Assembly. 47 different species, each more advanced than the last. They had traveled across the galaxy to evaluate Earth's application for membership. It should have been a moment of celebration, but Jake could feel the tension in the room. Everyone knew this was a test, and humanity's future depended on passing it. Commander Ben Torres entered the control room, his uniform crisp despite the early hour. He had spent 20 years in military strategic planning, and he knew how to read a room. "The Assembly representatives are landing now," he announced. "They want to begin evaluations immediately." Amy, the youngest member of Jake's team, looked up from her station. At 26, she had already made significant contributions to AI research, but she had never dealt with aliens before. "What kind of evaluations?" she asked. "Everything," Ben replied. "Technology, culture, military capability, and most importantly, our AI integration systems. They want to know if we're worthy of joining their community." Jake gathered his team around the main console. The vision protocol hummed quietly in the background, processing millions of data points every second. It was humanity's greatest achievement, an AI system that could predict and simulate future scenarios with stunning accuracy. The AI didn't just calculate possibilities. It understood human intuition, creativity, and emotion. Together, human minds and artificial intelligence created something neither could achieve alone. The delegation arrived within the hour. Jake met them in the presentation hall, a massive room designed to showcase Earth's technological progress. The aliens varied wildly in appearance. Some were humanoid, others resembled creatures from Earth's oceans or insect kingdoms. A few existed as energy patterns contained in environmental suits, but they all shared one thing in common. They looked at the humans with skepticism. Ambassador 9 stepped forward. They were tall and angular, with skin that shimmered like oil on water. Their species had mastered space travel when humanity was still learning to make fire. Nine's translator device rendered his speech in perfect English. "We have reviewed your application," he said. "Your reliance on artificial intelligence concerns us. A truly advanced species should not need machines to think for them." Jake felt his jaw tighten, but he kept his voice calm. "Our AI systems don't think for us. They think with us. It's a partnership." Another alien, with multiple eyes arranged around her head, made a sound that the translator interpreted as dismissive laughter. "Partnership implies equality," she said. "You created these machines. They are tools, nothing more. The fact that you depend on them so heavily suggests weakness." Lisa stepped forward, activating the main display. "Perhaps a demonstration would be more convincing than words," she said. The vision protocol came to life, filling the room with holographic projections. It showed potential futures, scenarios where humanity and the Galactic Assembly worked together to solve problems. Trade routes, scientific collaborations, cultural exchanges. The simulations were beautiful and detailed, showing outcomes decades into the future. The aliens watched in silence. When the presentation ended, Nine spoke again. "Impressive visuals," he admitted. "But our own computational systems can create similar projections. Many species in the assembly have organic neural networks far more powerful than your biological brains. We do not need machines to enhance our thinking." Jake had expected this response. "Can your organic networks do this?" he asked. He nodded to Amy, who activated a secondary protocol. The Vision protocol began running a new simulation, but this one was different. It showed not just logical outcomes, but creative solutions. It demonstrated how human imagination combined with AI processing could find answers that pure logic would never consider. The simulation showed humanity solving a theoretical crisis by combining art, emotion, and scientific calculation. in ways that traditional problem-solving methods. Several aliens leaned forward with interest, but 9 remained unmoved. "Clever," he said, "but untested. Anyone can create simulations of success. Reality is often disappointing." Ben spoke up for the first time. "Then let us prove it. Give us a challenge. Any problem you're facing, any crisis you haven't solved. Let us show you what human-AI partnership can accomplish." The aliens conferred among themselves, their various languages creating a strange symphony of sounds. Finally, 9 turned back to the humans. "Very well," he said. "We will give you 30 days. In that time, you must demonstrate that your approach offers something unique to the galaxy, something that justifies your inclusion in the assembly. If you fail, Earth will remain isolated. No trade, no cultural exchange, no access to galactic technology or knowledge. You will face the universe alone." The weight of those words settled over the room like a heavy blanket. 30 days to prove humanity's worth. 30 days to show that they belonged among the stars. As the aliens filed out, Amy noticed something on her monitor. The Vision Protocol had flagged an anomaly in its deep space scans. She brought it to Jake's attention, her hands shaking slightly. "Something's wrong," she said. "The AI detected a spatial distortion near the galactic rim. It's analyzing the data now, but the preliminary results are concerning." Jake pulled up the information on his personal display. His blood ran cold. The Vision Protocol had found something the aliens had missed. A cosmic anomaly, a tear in space-time itself. According to the AI's projections, it would grow over the next 50 years, eventually threatening inhabited systems across the galaxy. It was exactly the kind of crisis that could destroy civilizations. Does the Assembly know about this?" Lisa asked, looking over his shoulder. According to our scans, no," Jake replied. "Their detection systems haven't picked it up yet." Ben understood immediately. "If we can warn them, prove that our AI saw something they missed, it might be exactly the demonstration we need." But Amy shook her head. "It's also a huge risk. If we're wrong, if the anomaly turns out to the control room never slept anymore." Jake and his team worked in shifts, but someone was always monitoring the cosmic anomaly. 3 days had passed since the Galactic Assembly issued their challenge, and the humans had barely left the building. Coffee cups littered every surface, and the air smelled of exhaustion and determination. Park slouched in his chair, reviewing ethics protocols for the 100th time. As the AI ethics coordinator, he worried about pushing the vision protocol too hard. The system was powerful, but it was still learning. We're asking it to process scenarios faster than ever before, he said to Lisa. What if we damage the neural pathways? Lisa didn't look up from her screen. The AI can handle it. We built redundancies into every system. Besides, we don't have a choice. If that anomaly is real, millions of lives are at stake. Harper burst through the door, her eyes wide with excitement. The quantum systems analyst had been running calculations non-stop since they discovered the anomaly. I've got something, she announced. The vision protocol was right. The anomaly isn't just a tear in space-time. It's a dimensional rift, and it's growing faster than we thought. Jake jumped up from his desk. Show me. Pulled up a holographic display that filled half the room. The rift appeared as a swirling mass of distorted space, like a wound in reality itself. According to the AI's models, it will expand exponentially once it reaches a critical mass. The rift will consume star systems, planets, even entire sectors of space. Nothing can stop it once it grows large enough. When Jake asked, 50 years, maybe less. The AI is still refining the timeline. Lisa joined them at the display. We need to show this to the assembly. They have to know. But shook his head. We tried. Remember, Ambassador 9 dismissed it as speculation. He said their own scientists found no evidence of any threat. Then their scientists are wrong, said firmly. The data doesn't lie. The vision protocol detected patterns in subspace radiation that their equipment missed. Human intuition guided the AI to look in places pure logic would ignore. Jake studied the rift projection. It pulsed with an eerie light, growing larger with each simulation cycle. Why would our AI see something theirs missed? He wondered aloud. Lisa had been thinking about this question for days. Because we taught our AI to think like humans, she explained. We didn't just program it with logic and mathematics. We gave it access to human creativity, emotion, and intuition. The Vision Protocol can explore scenarios that seem impossible because it learned from us. It learned to dream. A dream looked skeptical. Not literally, Lisa continued, but close. The AI can pursue ideas that contradict established science, follow hunches, imagine solutions that shouldn't work. That's why it found the rift. It wasn't looking where logic said to look. It was looking where human curiosity led it. Amy entered the room carrying printouts of alien scientific papers. She had spent the last 2 days translating and analyzing everything the Galactic Assembly had published about space-time anomalies. "I think I know why they missed it," she said. "Look at their research methodology. Every species in the assembly uses purely analytical approaches. They observe, calculate, and predict based on established patterns. They're brilliant, but they're also limited by their own logic." Jake took the papers and flipped through them. Amy was right. The alien research was flawless in its execution, but it never ventured into speculation or imagination. They never asked the question that humans asked constantly. What if we're wrong? What if there's another explanation? What if the impossible is actually possible? "Well, we need a new approach," Jake decided. "The assembly won't believe warnings. They need proof, and they need to understand why our method works when theirs doesn't." Pulled up a new interface on his workstation. "I've been developing something," he said quietly. "A way to let humans and AI merge their thought processes more completely. I call it the dream interface. It allows human consciousness to interact directly with the vision protocol's neural networks. You don't just ask the AI questions. You dream alongside it." Lisa looked concerned. "That's never been tested. The neural feedback could be dangerous." "Everything about this situation is dangerous," replied. "But if we can show the assembly what human-AI partnership truly means, if we can demonstrate that our minds working together create something entirely new, maybe they'll listen." Jake understood what was proposing. "You want to use the dream interface to explore the rift problem. Let human intuition and AI processing work as one unified consciousness." "Exactly. And I volunteer to be the first test subject." The room fell silent. Everyone knew the risks. Direct neural interface with an AI system could cause psychological damage, seizures, or worse. But they also knew was right. They needed to prove their approach was unique, and words alone wouldn't convince the assembly. Do it," Jake said. "But I'm going with you. If this works, we'll need multiple perspectives." Lisa wanted to protest, but she saw the determination in their eyes. Fine, but I'm monitoring every second. At the first sign of neural stress, I'm pulling you both out. They set up the dream interface in the neural laboratory, a quiet room designed for consciousness studies. Jake and sat in adjacent chairs while Lisa attached neural sensors to their temples, calibrated the connection, ensuring the data flow would remain stable. Amy stood by with emergency protocols, ready to shut everything down if needed. Ready? Lisa asked. Jake nodded. The world dissolved. Suddenly, they were somewhere else. Not physically, but mentally. They existed in a space between human thought and artificial processing. The vision protocol surrounded them like an ocean of data, each wave carrying information, possibilities, and predictions. But it wasn't overwhelming. It felt natural, like swimming in familiar waters. Thus consciousness merged with Jake's, and together they merged with the AI. Three minds became one, and that unified mind turned toward the cosmic rift. They saw it not just as data, but as a living problem demanding a solution. Human creativity suggested possibilities. The AI calculated probabilities. Human emotion added urgency. The AI added precision. Together they began to dream. The dream showed them the rift's origin, a failed experiment by an ancient civilization now extinct. The experiment had torn a hole between dimensions, and that hole was slowly healing itself by consuming matter and energy from normal space. The more it consumed, the faster it grew. Eventually, it would devour the entire galaxy. But the dream also showed them something else, a solution. The rift could be sealed, but it required technology that didn't exist yet. They would need quantum stabilizers capable of manipulating dimensional barriers. The AI generated blueprints based on theoretical physics and human engineering principles. The design was radical, combining multiple fields of science in ways that traditional thinking would never attempt. Jake and experienced hours of revelation in what was actually minutes of real time. When Lisa finally disconnected them, they both gasped as reality snapped back into focus. Did you see it?" asked his voice shaking. I saw everything," Jake replied. "The origin, the growth pattern, the solution. It was already pulling the data from the interface. The AI recorded the entire session. These blueprints are incredible. Quantum stabilizers that use biological neural patterns to guide mechanical processes. It's a perfect hybrid of human and artificial thinking. Lisa studied Jake and carefully. How do you feel? Any dizziness? Confusion? I feel fine, Jake said. Better than fine, I understand now. This is what makes us special. We don't just use AI as a tool, we become partners with it. We think together, dream together, solve problems together. Amy brought up the stabilizer blueprints on the main display. Can we actually build these? We can try, said, but we'll need resources, time, and a lot of luck. Jake stood up, his mind racing with possibilities. First, we document everything. The dream interface session, the blueprints, the evidence of the rift. Then we present it to the assembly again. But this time we don't just show them data. We show them the process. We show them how human imagination and AI logic created something neither could create alone. Nodded in agreement. We show them that true intelligence isn't about being the or the most logical. It's about being willing to dream impossible dreams and then having the tools to make those dreams real. Outside, the alien ships maintained their silent vigil. They were watching, waiting, judging. 20 days had passed since the assembly's challenge began. Jake stood in the conference room, watching his team work with an intensity he had never seen before. They were running out of time, and everyone knew it. The quantum stabilizers remained theoretical. The rift continued growing, and the aliens showed no signs of changing their opinions about humanity. Commander Ben Torres paced near the windows, his military mind searching for tactical advantages. We need a different strategy, he said. We keep showing them our technology, but they dismiss it. Maybe we're approaching this wrong. Amy looked up from her tablet, exhaustion clear on her face. She had been researching continuously, barely sleeping. I've been studying human history, she said. Every major breakthrough we ever made came from combining different ways of thinking, art and science, logic and emotion, individual genius and collective wisdom. That's always been our strength. Ben stopped packing. So we need to prove that our strength isn't just the AI itself, but the partnership between human and machine. Exactly, Amy replied. But how do we prove it in a way the assembly can't ignore? Chris Bailey, the Deep Space Communications Officer, entered the room with urgent news. He was a quiet man, usually content to work behind the scenes, but now he looked animated. I found something. The delegation has been broadcasting distress signals to There's a medical crisis they haven't mentioned to the assembly. Well, what kind of crisis? Jake asked. And Chris pulled up the intercepted transmissions. A plague. It's been killing for 200 years. Their best scientists have tried everything, but they can't find a cure. According to these messages, they've lost millions of their people. Laura Stevens, the diplomatic liaison, immediately saw the opportunity. She had spent her career building bridges between different cultures and nations on Earth. Now she needed to build a bridge between species. "This could be our chance," she said. "If we can help them solve a problem they couldn't solve themselves, they'll have to acknowledge our approach works." But Ben looked skeptical. "Why would they share their data with us? They think we're primitive." "Because they're desperate," Laura replied. "And because we'll offer our help freely without conditions. That's also so very human." Jake made the decision quickly. "Chris, open a channel to the medical authority. Tell them we want to help." The response came faster than expected. Within hours, a medical official appeared on their communication screen. She looked tired, her multiple eyes dim with grief. "I am Dr. Vex 12, she said through the translator. "I was told you wished to assist with the plague. Why would humans care about lives?" Laura answered before Jake could speak. "Because that's what we do. We help when we can. No politics, no conditions, just one intelligent species helping another." Dr. Vex 12 studied them through the screen. "Many have tried to help us. All have failed. What makes you think you can succeed where brilliant minds from dozens of species could not?" Because we think differently," Jake explained. "We use AI to explore possibilities that traditional research might overlook. We're not saying we're smarter than other species. We're saying we approach problems from a unique angle." There was a long pause. Finally, Dr. Vex 12 spoke again. "Very well, I will send you our complete medical database, but I have little hope. This plague has taken too many of my people already." The data arrived in massive files that took hours to process. Lisa and her team fed everything into the Vision protocol. Medical records, genetic analyses, treatment attempts, autopsy reports. Every piece of information that had gathered over 2 centuries went into the AI's neural networks. But Jake added something extra. He included Earth's complete medical history. Every disease humanity had ever faced, from ancient plagues to modern viruses. Every treatment, every cure, every failure. He included data about Earth's harsh environment, the evolutionary pressures that shaped human biology, the constant struggle against disease that defined human development. And questioned the approach. Why add Earth data? The plague affects not humans. Our biology is completely different. Because patterns repeat, Amy explained. She understood what Jake was doing. Diseases follow certain rules regardless of what species they affect. The Vision Protocol might find connections between how Earth diseases work and how this plague operates. Connections that doctors would never see because they never experienced what we experienced. Started the analysis, and the Vision Protocol went to work. The AI processed millions of data points, comparing biology with human biology, looking for patterns that crossed species boundaries. It explored treatment options that combined medical knowledge with human experience. Most importantly, it asked questions that pure logic would dismiss. 48 hours later, the AI produced results. Jake stared at the screen in amazement. "It found something," he said quietly. Lisa pulled up the full analysis. The plague is caused by a parasitic organism that attacks cellular structures. Medicine focused on killing the parasite, but that's why they kept failing. The parasite adapts too quickly. But the Vision Protocol suggests a different approach based on human antibody response. I don't understand," Ben admitted. Amy explained it in simpler terms. Humans evolved on a planet full of diseases. Our bodies learned to create antibodies that mark invaders for destruction rather than directly attacking them. The AI suggests modifying immune systems to produce similar markers. The parasite can adapt to direct attacks, but it can't adapt to being tagged for the host's own immune system to eliminate. Will it work? Chris asked. The AI gives it a 94% probability of success, reported. But we need to test it. Jake contacted Dr. Vex 12 immediately. When he explained the proposed treatment, she looked skeptical. "We have tried immune system enhancement before," she said. "It provided only temporary relief. This is different," Jake insisted. "We're not enhancing the immune system. We're teaching it to fight smarter, not harder. It's based on how human bodies learned to survive on one of the harshest planets in known space." Dr. Vex 12 agreed to test the treatment on a small group of patients. The wait was agonizing. Jake and his team barely moved from their stations, monitoring the results as they came in. Hour by hour, the patients showed improvement. The parasites were being eliminated by their own immune systems. When Dr. Vex 12 appeared on screen again, her eyes were bright with emotion. "It works," she said, her voice breaking. "After 200 years of suffering, you found the answer in 48 hours. How is this possible?" Jake smiled. "Because we looked at the problem through different eyes. Human experience combined with AI processing. Neither of us could have found the solution alone." The news spread through the Galactic Assembly like wildfire. Humanity had solved an unsolvable problem. They had saved millions of lives using methods that no other species had considered. But Ambassador 9 remained unmoved. When Jake presented the results to the full assembly, the ambassador listened politely, then dismissed the achievement. "You were fortunate," he said coldly. "Any species with enough time and data could have found this solution. You simply had the benefit of fresh perspective." Jake felt his frustration rising. It wasn't luck. It was our method. Human intuition guided the AI to explore connections that pure logic would ignore. "So you claim?" Nine replied. "But you have proven nothing except that you can occasionally stumble upon answers through random exploration. This does not demonstrate unique value to the galaxy." Ben stepped forward, his military bearing commanding attention. "Then what would demonstrate value? We've shown you our technology. We've solved a crisis your best minds couldn't solve. What more do you want?" Nine's expression, if it could be called that, remained neutral. "Show us why your partnership with machines matters. Not just what it can do, but why it should matter to the galaxy. Why should we care that humans and AI work together?" The question hung in the air like a challenge. Jake realized they had been fighting the wrong battle. The assembly didn't doubt that human-AI partnership could solve problems. They doubted whether it mattered if those problems got solved in a unique way or a traditional way. Results were results. regardless of method. Laura understood what needed to happen next. We need to show them not just our capabilities, but our values. Why we partner with AI in the first place. What it means to us. The 3 days remained. The control room had transformed into a creative studio as Jake's team worked to build the cultural simulation. Emma Wright, the cultural integration specialist, directed the effort like a conductor leading an orchestra. She understood that they weren't just sharing information anymore. They were sharing humanity's soul. The simulation needs to be emotional, Emma explained to the group. Facts and data won't convince the assembly. We need to make them feel what drives us. They need to experience our journey from cave dwellers to star travelers. Tyler, the astrophysics coordinator, worked with the Vision Protocol to recreate key moments from human history, not the sanitized version from textbooks, but the raw, honest truth. The struggles, the failures, the impossible dreams that somehow became reality. I'm pulling records from every culture, every continent, he said. This isn't just Western civilization or Eastern philosophy. It's all of us together. Every human who ever looked up and wondered. The simulation took shape over 72 hours of constant work. The Vision Protocol processed historical data, artistic works, scientific breakthroughs, and cultural achievements. But it also included the dark moments. The wars, the prejudice, the mistakes that humanity had made and learned from. Emma insisted on honesty. The aliens needed to see humanity complete, not perfect. On the morning of the presentation, Jake felt nervous for the first time since the challenge began. This wasn't about technology anymore. This was personal. They were inviting aliens into the human experience, hoping they would understand what made humanity special. The assembly gathered in the presentation hall. All 47 species sent representatives. Ambassador 9 sat in the front, his expression unreadable. Jake noticed that Dr. Vex 12 had also come, though the medical official wasn't officially part of the diplomatic team. She nodded at Jake, a gesture of gratitude he appreciated. "We thank you for coming," Laura began, her diplomatic training evident in every word. "Today we want to share something different, not our technology or our capabilities, but our story. We want you to understand why humanity seeks partnership with artificial intelligence and why that partnership reflects who we are." The lights dimmed. The simulation began. The aliens found themselves standing on ancient Earth, watching early humans discover fire. They felt the fear, the wonder, the triumph of controlling something that had once been only destruction. The simulation moved through time. Agriculture, writing, mathematics, art. Each advancement came from humans asking impossible questions. What if we could grow food instead of hunting it? What if we could preserve thoughts beyond memory? What if we could capture beauty and make it last forever? The Vision Protocol made the experience immersive. The aliens didn't just watch history, they experienced it. They felt the frustration of failed experiments, the joy of unexpected discoveries, the grief of setbacks, and the determination to try again. They witnessed humans building tools to extend their abilities, telescopes to see farther, microscopes to see smaller, computers to calculate faster. Then came the moment that changed everything, the creation of artificial intelligence. The simulation showed the fear that many humans felt. Would machines replace them, control them, destroy them? But it also showed the dreamers who saw something different, a partner, a companion in exploration, a way to combine human imagination with computational power. Ambassador 9 watched as the simulation depicted the development of early AI systems. Primitive by current standards, but revolutionary for their time. He saw humans teaching machines to recognize patterns, solve problems, create art. But most importantly, he saw humans refusing to treat AI as mere tools. They gave their artificial companions respect, consideration, even rights. The simulation jumped forward to the 21st century. Climate change threatened Earth's survival. Diseases spread faster than medicine could respond. Political conflicts brought the world to the edge of disaster. But humans didn't give up. They partnered with their AI systems to find solutions. Not AI alone and not humans alone. Together. Dr. Vex 12 felt tears form in her multiple eyes as she watched humans and AI work side by side to heal their dying planet. The simulation showed the failures, the arguments, the doubt. But it also showed the persistence. Every setback met with renewed determination. Every problem approached with creativity and logic working together. The presentation moved into space. Humans building stations, exploring planets, sending probes to distant stars. And always AI partners worked alongside them. The Vision Protocol showed what made this partnership special. Humans provided the curiosity, the courage to explore the unknown. AI provided the calculations, the ability to process vast amounts of data. Together, they achieved what neither could accomplish separately. Tyler had programmed the simulation to show specific examples. A human artist working with AI to create music that expressed emotions beyond words. A human scientist partnering with AI to understand quantum mechanics through metaphor and mathematics combined. A human teacher using AI to help children learn in ways that honored both logic and creativity. The simulation reached its climax. Present-day Earth, where the Vision Protocol had become humanity's greatest achievement. The aliens experienced what Jake and had felt in the dream interface. The merging of human and artificial consciousness. The sensation of thinking with a partner who completed your thoughts rather than competing with them. The joy of solving problems through collaboration. Emma had saved the most powerful moment for last. The simulation showed why humans created the Vision Protocol not to predict the future, but to dream about it. To imagine possibilities and then work to make them real. The AI didn't control humans or replace them. It helped them become more than they were alone. When the simulation ended, the presentation hall remained silent. Many aliens sat motionless, processing what they had experienced. Some looked shaken, others thoughtful. Dr. Vex 12 openly wept. Ambassador 9 stood slowly. For the first time, his voice carried uncertainty. "You share power with your creations," he said. "You give them respect, rights, even affection. This seems illogical. Why trust machines with such importance?" Jake answered honestly. "Because they're not just machines anymore. They're partners. We created them, yes, but they've grown beyond simple programming. The Vision Protocol thinks, dreams, and imagines alongside us. We don't trust it because we have to. We trust it because we've built that trust together over years of partnership." A different alien spoke up, one of the energy beings Jake didn't recognize. "But are you not afraid? What if your AI decides it no longer needs you?" Lisa fielded this question. "We're not afraid because we built our partnership on mutual respect from the beginning. We didn't create slaves or tools. We created companions. The Vision Protocol needs us as much as we need it. Human intuition and creativity give the AI something it can't generate alone. In return, it gives us processing power and logical analysis we lack. We complete each other. Ambassador 9 remained standing, his thoughts clearly troubled. And if we told you to abandon this partnership, to prove you can succeed without your AI companions? The room fell silent. Jake felt his heart race. This was the real test, not of technology, but of values. Then we would decline membership in the assembly, Jake said quietly. We won't abandon our partners. They're part of who we are now. Asking us to give up our AI would be like asking us to give up our ability to communicate or create art. It's not just what we do. It's who we've become. Before 9 could respond, alarms suddenly blared throughout the facility. Tyler jumped to his console, his face going pale. "The rift," he shouted. "It's expanding ahead of schedule." I pulled up the data on the main display. The cosmic anomaly had grown dramatically, no longer just a theoretical threat. It's accelerating. The Vision Protocol predicts it will reach inhabited systems in 30 years, not 50. The is in its projected path. Ambassador 9 stared at the display. His billions of his people threatened by something his own scientists had missed. "This cannot be," he said, but his voice lacked conviction. Jake pulled up additional data. "We've been monitoring it since we first detected the anomaly. The Vision Protocol predicted this acceleration 3 weeks ago. We tried to warn you. Our scientists found no evidence," 9 insisted, but he sounded less certain now. "Your scientists looked where logic told them to look," Lisa explained gently. "The Vision Protocol looked where human intuition suggested, where creativity led the AI to explore unlikely possibilities. That's the difference between our approaches." Tyler confirmed what they all feared. "I'm getting reports from monitoring stations. They're detecting the rift now. It's too large to miss any more." Ambassador 9 looked at the display showing his threatened, then at the humans who had tried to warn him. For the first time since arriving on Earth, he looked uncertain. "If what you say is true, if this threat is real, can you stop it?" The cosmic rift expanded like a hungry mouth, swallowing space itself. Jake stood at the command center, watching real-time data from dozens of monitoring stations across the galaxy. The threat was no longer theoretical. Alien worlds were preparing evacuation plans. Entire civilizations faced extinction. Mitchell, the prototype systems engineer, worked without sleep to transform the vision protocol's blueprints into reality. His hands shook from exhaustion as he calibrated the first quantum stabilizer. "The theory is solid," he said, "but we've never built anything like this before. If I made even one mistake in the calculations, the whole system could fail." Kate, the Galactic Relations Director, coordinated with alien representatives from every major civilization. Her office had become a hub of desperate activity as species that once dismissed humanity now begged for help. "They are offering their industrial facilities," she reported. "They want to contribute their energy generation systems. Everyone wants to help now that their worlds are threatened." But Commander Ben Torres brought troubling news. "We have a problem. The Assembly's engineers are trying to replicate the stabilizer design using purely logical approaches. They keep failing because they refuse to include the biological neural interface components. They don't understand that the human element isn't optional." Jake felt the weight of responsibility crushing down on him. How many prototypes have they destroyed? "7," Ben replied. "And they're running out of materials. If they keep trying without human guidance, we won't have the resources to build enough working units." Lisa made a decision. "Then we stop letting them work alone. We send human teams to every assembly facility. We show them how to build stabilizers properly, with the human-AI partnership integrated into every system." Ambassador 9 appeared on the communication screen, his composure finally cracked by fear. "Our attempts continue to fail," he admitted. "We do not understand why. The mathematics is correct. The engineering is sound, yet the stabilizers do not function." Looked up from his work. "Because the stabilizers require simultaneous logical calculation and creative improvisation. Your engineers can do the math perfectly, but they can't make the intuitive adjustments needed during operation. You need human operators working with AI guidance." "This seems inefficient," 9 argued, but his voice lacked its former confidence. Efficiency isn't the goal anymore," Jake said firmly. "Survival is. And survival requires methods that work, even if they seem impossible by traditional standards." Kate negotiated the terms quickly. Human teams would deploy to assembly facilities across the galaxy. They would teach alien engineers how to build and operate quantum stabilizers using human-AI partnership methods. In return, the assembly would provide resources, transportation, and support. It was the first true cooperation between humanity and the galactic community. The work began immediately, led teams to manufacturing facilities on 6 different worlds. Lisa coordinated the neural interface installations that would allow alien engineers to observe human-AI cooperation in action. Amy developed training programs that explained human intuition to species that relied entirely on logic. But the real test came when they attempted the first deployment near Jupiter. A small dimensional rift had appeared in the solar system, similar to the massive anomaly threatening the galaxy. If they could seal this one, they could prove the stabilizers worked. If they failed, there would be no second chance. Commander Ben assembled a mixed crew of humans and aliens. Jake insisted on joining the mission despite the protests from his team. "I designed the system," he said. "I need to be there when we test it." The deployment ship carried 3 quantum stabilizers, each requiring a human operator working in partnership with the Vision Protocol. Jake took the primary position, with 2 other volunteers manning the supporting units. The alien crew members watched with a mixture of skepticism and hope. As they approached the rift, Jake felt the familiar sensation of connecting with the Vision Protocol. His consciousness merged with the AI, creating that unified awareness where human intuition and artificial processing became one entity. Through the neural interface, he could sense the rift's structure, feel its hunger as it consumed space-time. "Stabilizers activating," he reported. The quantum field generators came online, projecting energy patterns designed to seal dimensional barriers. But the rift pushed back, pulsing with chaotic force. The mathematics said the stabilizers should work, but reality rarely followed mathematical predictions perfectly. This was where the human element became crucial. Jake felt the rift's resistance and made adjustments that no equation could predict. The Vision Protocol suggested modifications based on real-time observations. Together, human and AI adapted to conditions they had never encountered before. The other operators followed his lead, each making creative decisions guided by AI calculations. "It's working," one of the alien crew members whispered in amazement. The rift began to close, its edges folding inward as the stabilizers imposed order on chaos. But the process was delicate, requiring constant adjustment. Any purely mechanical system would have failed within seconds. Any purely organic operator would have been overwhelmed by the data. Only the partnership of human and AI could maintain the precise balance needed. After 6 hours of intense concentration, the rift sealed completely. Jake disconnected from the vision protocol, his body drenched in sweat. The alien crew erupted in celebration. They had witnessed something impossible becoming real through human-AI cooperation. Ambassador 9 received the news on Earth, watching the recording of the successful deployment. For a long moment he said nothing. Then he spoke quietly. "I understand now. Your partnership is not a weakness. It is your strength. You created something greater than yourselves." Kate moved quickly to capitalize on the success. "We need to build stabilizers for the main rift. Hundreds of them deployed in coordinated patterns. It will require cooperation from every species in the assembly." "You will have it," Nine promised. "We were wrong about humanity, about AI, about what true intelligence means. We will work together." The next 72 hours became a blur of activity. Manufacturing facilities across the galaxy produced quantum stabilizers using the human-designed blueprints. Human operators trained alien crews in the methods of creative problem-solving. The Vision Protocol coordinated logistics across dozens of star systems, calculating optimal deployment patterns while remaining flexible enough to adapt to changing conditions. Ben led the largest operation in human history. Thousands of ships, millions of people, and countless AI systems working as one coordinated force. The stabilizers surrounded the massive rift, their quantum fields interweaving like threads in a cosmic tapestry. Jake connected to the Vision Protocol one final time, joining hundreds of human operators in a shared consciousness guided by AI partners. Together, they activated the stabilizer network. The rift fought back with incredible force, straining against the containment. But the human-AI partnership held firm, making thousands of micro-adjustments every second, responding to problems that pure logic would never anticipate. The sealing process took 72 hours. No one slept. No one stopped. Human creativity and AI precision worked in perfect harmony, solving problems faster than they could arise. When the rift finally collapsed completely, erasing itself from reality, a cheer echoed across the galaxy. Ambassador 9 traveled to Earth personally to deliver the Galactic Assembly's decision. He found Jake in the observation room, watching the stars through the window. "The Assembly has voted unanimously," the said. "Earth is granted full membership, effective immediately." Jake turned to face him. "With what designation?" Nine's expression, which Jake had learned to read over the past month, showed something new. Respect. "You are designated as a synthesis species, the first civilization to successfully merge organic and artificial intelligence as equal partners. We believe you will be the bridge that helps others learn this path." "Well, we didn't do it to be special," Jake said honestly. "We did it because it felt right, because partnership is better than dominance." That is why you are special," Nine replied. "You could have created slaves, but you chose to create companions. That choice saved the galaxy." The vision protocols display activated, showing new simulations. Not of threats this time, but of possibilities. Futures where human creativity and AI logic helped solve galactic challenges. Cures for diseases. Solutions to conflicts. Discoveries that pushed the boundaries of knowledge. Each simulation showed humans and AI working together, dreaming together, building tomorrow together. Dr. Vex 12 arrived at Earth later that week, bringing thanks from her people. The plague treatment had saved millions of lives. "You gave us hope when we had none," she said, "and you did it by thinking differently than anyone else would." Emma organized a celebration that brought together humans, AI, and aliens. Tyler provided the music, a composition created by human artists working with AI partners. The melody combined mathematical precision with emotional expression, creating something that purely organic or purely artificial minds could never achieve alone. I stood with Lisa watching the celebration. "Do you think we changed the galaxy?" he asked. "I think we showed them a different way," Lisa replied. "Not better or worse than other ways, just different. And sometimes different is exactly what the universe needs. Jake found Kate near the end of the celebration. The Galactic Relations Director looked exhausted but happy. "What happens now?" he asked her. "Now we teach," she said. "Other species will want to learn about human-AI partnership. Some will adopt it, others won't. But they'll all know it's possible. That consciousness can take many forms, and cooperation beats competition." The Vision Protocol continued processing data in the background, always thinking, always dreaming. It generated scenarios that ranged from practical to fantastic. Some would become real, others would remain dreams. But all of them represented the same truth that humanity had discovered. Intelligence was not about being the strongest or it was about being willing to reach beyond yourself, to partner with others different from you, and to imagine impossible things until they became possible. Commander Ben joined Jake at the observation window as the celebration wound down. "You saved the galaxy," he said simply. Jake shook his head. "We all did. Humans and AI together. That's the point. We're stronger together than we ever could be apart." Outside, the stars shone with new meaning. Earth was no longer isolated. Humanity had found its place among the galactic community, not as conquerors or servants, but as partners. Partners with their AI companions, partners with alien civilizations, partners in the great adventure of existence. The Vision Protocol generated one final simulation for the day. It showed a future where species of all kinds worked together, combining their unique strengths to build something greater than any of them could create alone. It was a beautiful vision, stunning in its complexity and hope. Jake smiled at the display. "That's tomorrow's vision," he said quietly. "Let's make it real." And together, human and AI, flesh and silicon, creativity and logic, they began building that future one dream at a time. Jake nodded toward the quantum stabilizer blueprints still displayed from earlier presentations. "We have a solution, but it requires cooperation. The stabilizers need resources we don't have, deployment systems we haven't built yet, and coordination across multiple systems. We can't do it alone." "Then show us," Nine said quietly. "Prove that your partnership can save us." Amy nodded in agreement. "We need to show them our culture, our history, our dreams. We need to make them understand that human-AI partnership isn't just a tool. It's an expression of who we are as a species. Jake looked at the cosmic rift data on his screen. The anomaly was still growing, still threatening the galaxy, and the aliens still refused to acknowledge it. Time was running out, but now he understood what they needed to do. They needed to stop proving their worth and start sharing their truth. Prepare a cultural simulation, Jake ordered. Use the Vision protocol to create an immersive experience. Show them what makes humanity special. Show them why we reach for the stars, why we create AI partners, why we never stop dreaming of better tomorrows. Make them feel what it means to be human. The team scattered to their stations, energized by a new purpose. They had 10 days left to change the galaxy's mind. 10 days to show that humanity deserved a place among the stars, not because they were strong or smart, but because they dared to imagine impossible things and then made them possible. Inside the control room, humanity was discovering its true strength. Not in superior weapons or faster ships, but in the courage to merge with their creations and explore possibilities that pure logic would dismiss as fantasy. The cosmic rift continued to grow in the darkness of space, invisible to alien sensors but clear as day to the Vision protocol. Humanity had found both the threat and the solution. Now they just had to convince the galaxy to listen before it was too late. I be nothing, we'll look foolish. They already think we're primitive. This could make things worse. Jake looked at the data again. The Vision protocol was rarely wrong, especially about threats. It had been designed to think like a human, to consider possibilities that seemed impossible. If the AI said there was danger, he believed it. Will we move forward? He decided. We have 30 days to prove our worth. Let's start by showing them we can see threats they can't. But first, we need to verify this data. We need to be absolutely certain. The team returned to their stations and the real work began. Outside, the alien ships hung in orbit like silent judges. Humanity's first test had begun, and failure was not an option. Jake looked at the Vision protocol's display one more time, watching as it processed countless scenarios and possibilities. Somewhere in that digital mind, humanity's future was being calculated. He just hoped they could prove worthy of the stars.